This episode is brought to you by Voco Hotels by IHG, where you should prepare to be charmed. From Chicago to Myrtle Beach to Saranac Lake, each Voco in the U.S. has its own local flavor and unique detail. Our hosts welcome you with little extras, and you'll find rooms for catching up on me time and full-service bars and restaurants that are perfect for us time. Come on in and live the Voco life and book your next stay at vocohotels.com. VOCO hotels.com.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Business. We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Welcome to From Dorms to Desks, job hunting tips for those early in their careers. A podcast brought to you by College Recruiter job search site, which believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career, and hosted by Work Defined. Join our AI co-hosts as they dive into tips, tricks, and insights that will help you land your next part-time, seasonal, internship, or entry-level job. Let's get your career started.
Okay, so you've given us quite the stack of articles about finding jobs with a criminal record, especially for recent grads and students.
Yeah.
It's a big topic.
It is.
And I get the sense that this is something you're dealing with personally or know someone who is.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that I've seen firsthand,
Yeah.
It's tough enough trying to launch a career, but when you add a record into the mix, it's a whole other level of challenges.
It feels insurmountable, I bet.
It can. The stigma is real. And it's way more common than people realize. These articles, they really show you how widespread this issue actually is.
That was actually my first question. Just how doubly common are we talking? Because I think for most people, it's so far out of their realm of experience that they don't really get how big of a deal it is. And one of the first things I saw in this stack, a Brookings Institution study, this blew my mind a little bit, honestly.
Really?
By the age of 23, almost 1 in 3 Americans has been arrested.
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a second.
Wow.
Not even convictions, arrests.
It's a staggering statistic, isn't it?
It is. I mean, that's a huge chunk of the population right there.
And it gets, frankly, even more concerning when you start to look at specific demographics.
Right, because we're not talking about an even distribution here across.
Absolutely not.
Across society.
Young men of color, especially those without a college degree, they're disproportionately represented in those numbers.
Yeah.
Think about that. By their late 20s, almost 20% already have some kind of conviction on their record.
Wow. So we're not talking about a small segment of the population here. This is a significant portion of our potential workforce.
Exactly.
Facing this massive hurdle right out of the gate.
Right from the start.
One of the articles, they cite a study from SUNY. They found that 4% of their applicants had felony convictions.
Wow.
Now, if you even just try to extrapolate that to a national level,
it's huge.
We could be talking about hundreds of thousands of students hitting this wall every single year. So, where do you even begin to navigate that? Where do you even start if you're in that boat?
Right. It can feel incredibly overwhelming, but knowledge is power.
Okay.
Knowing your rights, that's got to be step one. Several of these articles, that's what they stressed right off the bat.
Okay.
You got to call your state's Department of Labor. That's a must-do.
They can actually help.
They can. They can tell you all about things like pre-employment screening laws, whether you even have to disclose your record in your state, and then some really interesting stuff like expungement.
Expungement. See, that's to me, that sounds like the dream scenario.
Right.
Wipe the slate clean, start fresh. How often does that actually work, though?
It definitely depends on the state you're in, of course.
Okay.
And the offense.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's probably more common than people think.
Really?
Even for some felonies.
Wow.
So imagine this. You're a young woman, got caught with marijuana a few years back.
Yeah.
Now it's legal in your state.
Right.
Expungement. That can mean legally answering no to that criminal history question.
Oh, wow.
It never even happened.
Okay. So that's huge. That's a why didn't I know this sooner moment for a lot of people, I bet.
Absolutely.
But even with a clean slate, I mean, let's be real. Finding a job, it's still a competition.
Oh, yeah.
So are there strategies that actually work better for someone with a record, even if it is expunged?
One of the things that came up a lot in these articles was the idea of targeting. Like, think about the trades.
Okay.
Electricians, welders, HVAC techs. Those are jobs where skills are king.
Right.
They've got this huge demand for people who can actually do the work.
Yeah.
So they're often a lot more interested in your abilities than they are in your past.
It's almost like the more specialized the skill set, the less the past mistakes actually overshadow your present ability.
Exactly.
I like that. That's encouraging. But even in those fields, you eventually get to the interview. So how do you actually address, like, the elephant in the room if it comes up?
That's the thing, you have to be prepared.
Okay.
One of the experts quoted in these articles, Jeffrey Korsnick, he suggested having a concise, honest explanation ready to go. You know, if they ask, you answer truthfully, but you don't dwell on it.
Right.
The key is to showcase how you've grown, how you've addressed whatever the root issues were.
Okay.
It's about owning your story, not letting it define you.
Not hiding from it, but also not, like, oversharing.
Exactly.
Like, this happened, I learned from it, I'm better now.
Yes. Demonstrate that you've learned, you've grown, and you are genuinely excited about this opportunity.
That makes a lot of sense. But even with all that, I mean, it's got to feel pretty daunting to go through all of this alone. Are there organizations that actually help people with records, you know, specifically navigate this whole job search process? Because if so, that sounds incredibly useful.
There are, actually. You'd be surprised. You are definitely not alone in this.
Okay, good.
And in fact, several of these articles, they talk about organizations that are literally designed specifically for this. Like, for example, Strive.
Strive, okay.
They've got locations all over the country. And they do job training, they do placement assistance, like the whole 9 yards. It's like having a guide to walk you through what can often be a really confusing system.
Okay, that's reassuring, actually, to know there's that support out there. But how do you find it? Like, how do you even find these organizations? Is there, like, a central database, or do you just have to Google like crazy?
That's a great question. And the answer is kind of yes.
Yeah.
There are resources to help you find the resources.
Okay.
Your state's Department of Labor website, that's always a good place to start. Yeah. They'll often have links to reentry programs, to nonprofits, all kinds of support services. Plus, you know, don't underestimate just the power of your personal network.
Right.
Friends, family, mentors.
Word of mouth.
Exactly. Let people know you're looking.
Yeah.
Because you never know. Someone might know someone you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they say, it takes a village, right?
Exactly.
Speaking of kind of like a village mentality, some of these articles talked about this shift we're seeing in how we even talk about criminal records, like calling for a ban the box approach.
Yes.
What is that, first of all? And then second of all, is it actually working?
Yeah, ban the box is really interesting. So basically, it's this movement to completely remove that criminal history question from job applications altogether. The idea is to give applicants a chance to be judged on their qualifications, first and foremost.
So before they even see the record, they're
exactly
seeing what you bring to the table.
Precisely. And the really encouraging thing is, it seems to be gaining some real traction. Like, a lot of states and cities have adopted some version of this.
Really?
Yeah. And studies are actually suggesting that it can make a difference.
That's good to hear, because I feel like sometimes those things are more
symbolic.
Yeah, like they make people feel good, but in actuality, it doesn't really change anything. So that's...
No, but there's some actual data behind it. For example, one study, they found that ban the box policies, they actually increased the employment rate of people with records by, get this, up to 1.1 percentage points. Yep. Now, that might not sound like a ton.
Well, percentages never sound like a lot until you extrapolate it out to the actual number of people.
Exactly. But when you're talking about millions of people potentially impacted, those points, those translate into real lives.
Yeah, that's a significant number of people finding work who otherwise might not. Okay. So it's not just symbolic, it's actually making a difference. Are there specific companies or even like industries that are kind of leading the charge on this whole second chances approach?
There are. And it's really encouraging to see. Some companies have literally made it part of their mission to hire people with criminal records.
Wow. Okay.
And we're not just talking small businesses either. I mean, there's some big names out there in tech, in manufacturing, even some big retail giants. And it makes sense when you think about it, right? A diverse workforce, that includes people with all sorts of life experiences.
Yeah.
It can be a real asset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, there have been studies that show that employees with records They can be some of the most loyal and most motivated employees you'll find.
Makes sense. Like someone took a chance on you, so
Exactly.
you want to prove yourself.
You want to make them proud that they gave you that shot.
Exactly. Okay. But even with all this, like the positive momentum and these organizations, it's still got to be a roller coaster, I would imagine, just emotionally. Mm-hmm. So how did these articles suggest dealing with what I would imagine are some inevitable setbacks?
Self-care.
Okay.
It's easy to forget about, but honestly, job hunting is stressful for anyone. But when you add a record into the mix, it's another level. Imagine, getting your hopes up for a job.
Right.
You think you nailed the interview, and then
rejection.
That dreaded email, it's crushing.
It is.
So prioritizing your mental health throughout this whole process, that is not a luxury. That's essential.
It's so easy to let those rejections, especially when you already feel like you've got something to prove.
Oh, yeah.
It just kind of eats away at your confidence. So, okay, self-care. But, like, what does that actually look like in this context? Is it, bubble baths and meditation apps or what?
Honestly, it's whatever works for you.
Okay.
I mean, it could be exercise, spending time in nature, listening to music, connecting with loved ones.
Right.
It's about finding those healthy ways to manage the stress.
Right.
And stay positive, especially when those no's start to pile up.
Because they will.
They will.
Statistically speaking.
It's a numbers game.
And you just got to power through it.
Yeah.
Okay. The articles also mentioned something interesting about like turning those rejections, those no's, into learning experiences.
Yeah. Yes.
Which sounds great on paper, but like in the moment, how do you actually do that?
It's all about mindset. It's about reframing how you see those rejections.
Okay.
So instead of seeing it as this personal failure,
right,
you kind of step back and you ask yourself, okay, what can I learn from this experience?
Okay.
Maybe it's that your resume needs some tweaking. Maybe your interviewing skills could use a little bit of work.
Right.
Or, hey, maybe it just wasn't the right fit. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Every no gets you one step closer to a yes.
I like that. It's about persistence and playing the long game, even when it's tough. But what if, like, you're doing all the things, but that traditional employment route, it's not happening.
Well, that's where this other path comes in, and several of the articles brought this up, which is entrepreneurship.
Okay. Let's unpack that. So entrepreneurship, it's kind of a buzzword these days.
It is.
But for someone with a record, what makes it a particularly good fit? Because honestly, to me, it almost sounds harder.
Well, it's definitely not the easier route, that's for sure.
Right.
But it does offer you a level of control that you just don't get as an employee.
Right.
So imagine this. You're like a crazy talented carpenter, right?
Okay.
But you keep hitting those background check walls.
Yeah.
You start your own furniture business. Suddenly, you're the one doing the hiring.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Your past doesn't have to be the barrier. It can be like fuel for your hustle.
Oh, I like that. Your past is fuel for the hustle.
Yeah.
And with like online businesses and stuff, it seems more attainable than ever these days to actually be an entrepreneur. But these articles weren't all like sunshine and roses about it, were they?
Right. It's not a magic bullet.
Right.
They really stressed that even more than usual, you need a rock-solid business plan.
Okay.
Because think about it. You're going to be pitching to investors.
Yeah.
Not just as a new business owner, but as one with your particular history.
Right.
That plan has got to be bulletproof.
Okay.
It has to show that you're serious, that you've thought through the risks, that you are ready.
So it's like you have to prove yourself twice over.
In a way, yeah.
First as a business owner in general, but then also like overcome that extra skepticism because of the past. Are there like resources specifically for entrepreneurs with records? Because if so, that sounds like a lifeline.
There are. And that's the amazing thing. There are microloan programs specifically designed for this. There are business incubators that focus on second chances.
Wow.
There are even mentorship networks that can connect you with entrepreneurs who've walked a similar path.
Oh, that's amazing. So you're not alone. There's like a whole...
You're not alone.
Okay. Good to know. Where would you even begin? Is that a Department of Labor thing again, or?
Your state's Department of Labor is always a good starting point, yeah.
Oh,
organizations like the SBA, they can point you in the right direction.
Okay. That is huge to know, knowing that there is that support out there. But even with all this, like even if we get all these resources and this help for individuals, the system itself kind of needs to change, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, we can talk about individual success stories, but what about like broader reform?
Yeah, you're hitting on such a crucial point. And it's something that these articles bring up over and over again. It's not enough to just figure out how to navigate the system as it is. We have to be pushing for systemic change as well.
Absolutely.
One of the things that really struck me was the emphasis on language. Like the words we use matter.
Totally. Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, person with a record versus felon.
Exactly.
Small change, but I feel like
huge difference.
It changes the whole way you think about the person.
Exactly.
Were there other examples like that these articles highlighted?
Oh, yeah, tons. One that came up a lot was shifting from talking about reentry to talking about returning citizens.
Oh, interesting.
Again, it's subtle.
Yeah.
But it frames people as assets to their communities.
Yeah.
Not problems to be solved.
Right.
And it's not about being politically correct. It's about changing the whole narrative around criminal justice.
Totally. Okay, so it's about advocating for change in both, like how we talk about these issues and the actual policies themselves.
Yeah.
What were some of the concrete actions that these articles suggested?
It starts with awareness. Literally just talking about this stuff with your friends, with your family, sharing these insights. Support the organizations that are doing the on-the-ground work, whether that's through donations or volunteering your time. And then most importantly, vote. Local elections, district attorneys, these all have a huge impact on criminal justice reform.
It's like that saying, think globally, act locally, right? It all starts in your own backyard. But, okay, if our listener is feeling like a little overwhelmed by all of this, which is understandable.
Totally.
What's the one thing you hope they take away from this whole deep dive?
Honestly, I hope they take away hope. And not in a naive way. The challenges are real. The system is far from perfect.
Right.
But things are changing.
Okay.
There are incredibly passionate people out there fighting every day for a more just system.
Yeah.
And every single success story, every person who overcomes these barriers, it chips away at that stigma.
Yeah.
So it's about holding on to that hope while also, being realistic about the work that still needs to be done.
It's that balance of not getting discouraged, but also not pretending like it's not there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's good because it's easy to get bogged down in the negativity, but knowing that there is progress being made, that people are out there fighting the good fight.
Yes.
That's powerful.
It is. And for your listener or anyone else out there facing this challenge, just remember, your past doesn't have to define your future.
Ooh, I like that.
It's about focusing on your skills, your drive, and building that future one step at a time.
Beautifully said. Could not agree more. And remember, you are not alone. This deep dive, it barely scratched the surface. There are so many resources out there.
So many.
Just waiting to help you succeed.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Exactly. Ask for help. Use the resources. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to really dive deep on this with us.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Yeah. This is important stuff. And listeners, thank you for being here. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep believing in the power of second chances.
This has been From Dorms to Desks, job hunting tips for those early in their careers. A podcast brought to you by college recruiter job search site, which believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career. Each episode, we dive into tips, tricks, and insights that will help you land your next part-time, seasonal, internship, or entry-level job. Subscribe to this podcast for free now, so you don't miss an episode, and visit www.collegerecruiter.com to find your next great job.
Every minute your finance team spends wrestling with data is a minute lost. Insight Software's AI-powered insights instantly move you from complexity to clarity. Automated analysis, real-time reporting, strategic recommendations, all at your fingertips. Transform how your finance team works and watch your business grow. Stop wasting time. Start making smarter decisions. Learn more at insightsoftware.com/AI.
You know the words dominating today's headlines.
Private equity,
generative capital gains tax,
America's
chip fueled by market volatility,
on
Fed rate cuts.
But do you understand how they impact your world and your wallet? In a world that skims the what, understand the why. Because context changes everything. Subscribe at Bloomberg.com.